Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the analysis of YOLENO TV. I hope you're well from wherever you're watching this channel. Now I want to take you to a trending story. Yesterday there was talk that Raila Amolo Odinga snubbed William Ruto's meeting. You saw that in so many bloggers, they talked about it. So I did not talk about that scenario, but then there's something here that is happening, and it's as if Raila Amolo Odinga has finally decided to react because people are blaming him. I don't know why people always like to blame Raila Amolo Odinga when there are problems in Kenya. It's as if he's the president. We all know that Raila Amolo Odinga is not the president, but of course we know that Raila Amolo Odinga has the affairs of Kenyans at heart. One of the leaders we should be giving respect is Raila Amolo Odinga. And let me remind you, before I read this statement, there is no leader who is 100% perfect. And there is no any human being who is 100% perfect. That is something that we all must agree on. That is why there is Jesus. Then there's a human being here. Sisi sote hatuko perfect. So let me just give you a statement about Raila Amolo Odinga, because Raila Amolo Odinga has decided to clear the air so that people stop blaming him. People are putting words on Raila Amolo Odinga's mouth, things that he has never talked about. But he sought to issue a written circular, or rather not trying to tell the people his stand. It is a shift from what many people have been talking on the mainstream media and even the social media. Ladies and gentlemen, I want us to go through this memo that Raila Amolo Odinga has issued. There are points which he has highlighted there. It is so important to talk about, especially the shift and NHIF narrative. But before we go further on that, please like this video. It's so important if you like this video, and I'm so grateful for everyone who has been liking our videos. I don't take that for granted. Subscribe to our channel if you've not subscribed before, and to existing subscribers, thank you so much for your support. Now this is a tweet that Raila Amolo Odinga shared, and let me just take you through this tweet. And there is a memo which has been shared also with this tweet. So, clearing the air, ukweli wa mambo. To the young, resilient generation of our nation, I'd like to address you this morning. I agree that justice must come first before any talks. Towards this end, I stand with you that there must be. And he highlighted 6 conditions. 1, compensation for every victim of police brutality. Dismissal of all protest-related cases. Release of all abductees and those in jail. Resolution of outstanding healthcare grievances. A reverting of our public healthcare insurance back to NHIF and to discard SHIF. A prosecution of all security sector perpetrators who facilitated atrocities on peaceful Kenyans. Now, once these issues are resolved, we can focus on a national conversation and conducted transparently in a neutral venue. It is my proposal that representatives for this conversation should come from various sectors, including youth, government, religious leaders, healthcare professionals, lawyers, and teachers. We must come together to discuss national and constitutional critical issues touching on the following: good governance, skyrocketing cost of living, eradicating tribalism, fighting corruption, debt, and fiscal management. To the young people of Kenya, you all must know that I am deeply moved by your dedication to the cause, and I believe a structured dialogue will bring the reforms you are fighting for and safeguard Kenya for your future. Now that's the end of that memo. I think this is Raila issued in reaction to the statements which have been, shared online. 1 from Babu Owino, 2 this from Orengo, this from some bloggers. One thing that we also all must agree on is that the Gen Zs do not want a dialogue with the government. In fact, it's not possible for them to make a dialogue whenever they go to the streets. They are being tear gassed, they are being clobbered, they are being arrested, and there is still forceful disappearance of the youths. That is one of the reasons why this cannot take place, the dialogue that Raila is talking about. Now those 6 conditions, if you look at them very carefully, unapata kwamba hapo ndo kuna shida, especially the issue of reverting SHIF to the NHIF. Ruto is hell-bent in making sure that SHIF becomes the national insurance, the social insurance of all Kenyans, and he has a target with that scheme. There was talk about AMACO insurance. I don't want to talk about it much because it's a video. We talked about it when we talked about the relationship between William Ruto and AMACO. And you can just go online. Someone tried to say that maybe that's not the case, but to also dispel these rumors, you can just go online, do your own Googling, find out AMACO and Ruto. You find that there is some relationship there. It's either it's a shareholder, or is the owner of the company, or there is something. There's some kind of linkage there. Just you will find it on on your Google. Now, we also know on this issue of SHIF that the chair of digital health came from AMACO. So you understand now why many people have been linking AMACO to the number one, the head of state. But just a discussion for another day. Now let's delve into some of these other conditions which Raila has highlighted. Compensation for every victim of police brutality. Of course, that is a necessity. There is no way any talks can take place, if they were to take place, if there is no meaningful compensation. Ruto had earlier indicated that he was willing to meet those parents whose loved ones had maybe perished, disappeared, or for the government to compensate them. The people know very well that you cannot compensate mtu ambaye amekufa ati uridhike. Yani you lost your child, now you're given 1 million, 2 million so that you can forget. It's not easy at all. That is why, despite the fact that it's not easy, it's not possible, but some meaningful conversation is needed. There is also talk of dismissal of all protest-related cases. There are cases in court, like recently, there are people who are released on a bond of, I think, 500 each. Antonio Guterres issued a memo to Kenya, to the Kenyan government, to respect the right of journalists, the right of citizens to peacefully picket. That is why you find that there is always this talk that the peaceful demonstrations turned wild. But why did they turn wild? It's very simple. Some politicians infiltrated this peaceful protest by now hiring more goons and placing them there so that these demonstrations can be seen to be very violent. So this is a strategy that is well known. Now, there are security personnel, so officers, policemen, who did the unthinkable, and some of them are known. Pictures are circulating everywhere, but none of them has been arrested. So the question is very simple: why haven't they been arrested? So Raila has given that as a condition that all these must be arrested. People who did atrocities, who committed atrocities, firing live bullets on citizens, especially when there was that parliament invasion, the live bullets, which ended up killing some of them. So these are the irreducible minimums which Raila Amolo Odinga has issued here. I know there are so many people who are not agreeing with this, and especially it's being said that this statement was issued moment Raila Amolo Odinga went to Dubai. I think it could have been there, because there's talk that Raila went to meet Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta in Dubai. See? So because that trip is out there in the public domain, people have offered reactions and counter reactions. Even this tweet that Raila issued, people have reacted to it. Like, for example, let me take you through some reactions. You will be shocked. Someone by the name Kawangware Finest, is an ex-handler, says, "I hope you are happy now, Baba." He's talking about that memo, what he has said, or rather, he's talking about what is going on. And in his tweet, he has shared a picture of Raila and Ruto holding something that appears to be a bag, and Ruto has a knife, long knife, and wants to slice that bag so that we share. So hapo chini yake kuna kama sanduku GENZ protesters, sanduku ya maiti, and they are standing on it. So ni kama, in other words, ni kama the picture, according to me, naona kama hii picture inajaribu kusema kwamba wamesahau, wamefunika mambo ya victims of GENZs kwa sanduku, sasa wanagawanya mamlaka. Okay, so Andy, that's another ex-handler, he says kazi yako ni kuturuka tu every time you get a chance, kukuamini inakuwa ngumu. Why recycle cabinet secretaries? Kenya has over 50 million people. Choose from those based on merit. Ask that kwanza. But does Raila Amolo Odinga appoint? Is he an appointing authority? Definitely no. So I think, yeah, there is someone who appears to be very upset. He says Kwera is thirsty, keep so you wait. He just wrote Kwera. Okay, now let me take you to someone else, Githehu Gibson. You know, he says pressure increase or decrease, and hashtag Ruto must go. Okay, now Anwar Sadat says CS Kindiki ordered, sanctioned and supervised the killings of unarmed civilians. He then praised the police for doing a good job. We cannot get any justice from him. The reappointed CSS must be rejected. So I think now hapo ndio Ruto alikosea kidogo, kwa sababu if he wants this peace to prevail, there was this issue of reappointing Kithure Kindiki to the same docket. Hiyo ni mistake, and then Duale to the same docket, pia ni mistake. It's either they are being reappointed with fresh directives not to do whatever they did, or there's some hidden agenda here. Why would he appoint Kithure Kindiki in the same docket after Kithure Kindiki went public to defend the police, and it's out there in the public domain that people are shot at? Ladies and gentlemen, if you've been keen on this memo from Raila Amolo Odinga, then you certainly agree with me that there's something here, that Raila is telling the people that contrary to what is being peddled out there, because we've seen reactions from Babu Owino, Miguna, Orengo, we've seen reactions from Wajakoya, Kioni went public. We even saw a reaction from Donald Kipkorir saying that he stopped believing in Raila Amolo Odinga. Yeah? Talk about Tony Gachoka. Tony Gachoka being a friend of Raila Amolo Odinga from so many times during the struggles since days of Moi to now, also is not supporting him. So these are unfortunate scenarios which you are experiencing, which Raila is experiencing, but it's because of the situation that Kenya is finding themselves in. So let me remind you about something. We all know that Raila wants to become AUC chair. We're not sure whether he's going to clinch it, but that is one thing that we know he's angling towards. Now, there are some things which Raila is expected to do. Now, this is now not me vindicating Raila Amolo Odinga from the blames, but the reality as it is. Raila is expected to play a nationalist. He's supposed to be like a father of the nation. He's supposed to be the person who champions peace and democracy. So that is the call that Raila is finding himself in right now. Is for either him to forfeit the AUC chair position, or to, stick to his guns and say Gen Zs must continue protesting and let Babylon fall. Gen Zs to continue and let Babylon fall. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the situation that Raila Amolo Odinga is finding himself in. So this question, let me put it to you, my dear viewers, subscribers. I hope you have all subscribed. Please don't forget to subscribe. Assume you are in Raila Amolo Odinga's shoe, and now you are confronted with this opportunity to become AUC chair. Back at home, where you're supposed to lead by examples, the youths are demonstrating against bad governance. Now you are there as a nationalist, a pan-Africanist. What will you do? Will you tell the youths to continue fighting, or will you be the person who wants to create peace, to play the neutral person, so that you balance between the youths and the government? So which side will you take? That is something that maybe I can leave to you, so that you can help us understand there. I would like to pick a point there that will help us in another analysis. You just go below there and tell us what you can do if at all you are in Raila Amolo Odinga's shoe and you're confronted with this, because one thing that AUC expects from Raila is that he's going to play a nationalist, a pan-Africanist, someone who can deal with crisis like the issue of Sudan, issue of Mali. You can deal with the crisis issue of Niger. You get it? Issue of DRC. You know, the boiling tension between Rwanda and DRC. How can you deal with that? In Uganda, NRM and the rebels. How can you deal with that? That is the most important thing to Raila Amolo Odinga profile at this particular moment. So I hope someone or you will just give us your take and what you can do. So perhaps if you're watching this video and not subscribed, take 1 second and subscribe, like this video. Until you catch up again, stay safe and stay blessed.